Hi, everybody. It's Leap of the Week time again with me, Sarah. And I thought this week it would be interesting to look at a broader topic rather than, a body part or a case study. And so, what I want to talk about is something that I think about a lot, and which is what does it mean to be a good teacher? What are the sort of component parts that make up a good teacher? I wrote some notes. It's a kind of short list. It's not really a short. My list is short, but these are just sort of like the to me the most important things. I would love to hear your thoughts as well about what you think is a requirement. So, without further ado, what makes a good teacher? I think you always have to be learning, and that's not an original thought of mine. Many people have expressed that in different ways. If I'm still teaching something that I learned 10, 15, 20 years ago, and I haven't updated myself on, what's actually current knowledge around this, how has the research changed, how have practices changed, things like that, then I'm doing a disservice to my student, but I'm also guaranteed to be kind of just very dry and bored and maybe boring. So I think it's on us as teachers to always be trying to learn more in whatever ways that we can. I remember last year at the Fascia Research Congress talking with Jules Mitchell, who, if you don't know Jules, you should go find her and go study with her. She's a really, really great teacher, and she's working a lot with a lot of current research around movement and what we actually know and what we don't know about stretching and strength and all those sorts of things. And so she and I were having this discussion about looking back at old blog posts that we had written from like 5 years ago or 6 years ago and kind of cringing because we knew less then and we know more now. So when we look back at what we knew, we're like, yeah. But at the same time, my thought around that was, good. I should feel self-conscious about it. I should be able to look back and track my own increase in knowledge, because otherwise I'm just stagnant and I have nothing new to offer my students. So I do think that's the really big key component of being a good teacher. With that said, at the same time, I think it's important as you progress in your own study and you become more, quote unquote expert in your field or whatever have you. I think a lot of those labels are kind of nebulous, but anyway, as you get further in your learning, it's really vital not to forget what it was like when you were first learning about things like, directions of movement or where muscles attach or any of that kind of stuff, so that when you are teaching, you aren't impatient or frustrated that, not everybody's where you currently are. You were once there, and I have to still be able to recall that feeling so that I can teach to anyone, not just the people who are, at the same level of learning as I am. So I think patience is another really vital quality for a teacher. The next thing that I was thinking about was, and this is something that I really feel strongly about, I am the one who is responsible for my students' learning. It is not my students' responsibility to understand me. It's my responsibility to make myself understood to my students. And so that means if I try to teach something and it's not coming across, it's not their job to try and figure it out. It's my job to then come up with a different strategy. So maybe I have my way that I like to explain things, but I have to change it now. Or maybe I have to use a different type of learning tool. Maybe everyone needs to get down on the floor and move around and feel the thing that you were talking about. Or, and for movement people, I think that's always a really big one. We're very kinesthetic learners for the most part. Maybe I need to come up with a rhyming song or draw a picture or make a model or whatever, right? But that's on me. And I think that goes back to the first thing about, learn how other people learn and don't necessarily assume it's the same way that I do is an important part as well. And then another factor that I really love, and I got this from one of my teachers at PT school, Dr. Ben Cornell. He was talking about it in the context of, what would it mean to be an expert in something, but I think it holds true for all teachers, and that is humility. I have to be ready to let go of, any accolades that might have been aimed at me. So let go of them, overinflating my head, and instead continue to work on my ability to teach, and to also be willing to admit when things I teach maybe don't land the way that I thought. I've definitely had times where I've come in to teach something and I've had like, oh, this is going to be great, and we're going to do this, and they're going to do this move, and they're totally going to understand what I'm talking about. And and I've done it, and it's just turned, it's like a poop emoji, in the room. People are just like, no. So, along with that humility, I think not getting attached to your ideas about how you should teach something or how people should learn it, and be willing to really, really take the feedback that you get to make your skills just that much sharper and better. I think the last thing that I want to talk about, at least, is it's really important that, well, A, that you love teaching. If you don't love teaching, but B, that you really love the subject that you're teaching is also important. I feel lucky that I am mildly to moderately to probably maximally, actually, if we're honest about it, obsessed with movement and bodies and all of the involved parts in that. And so that keeps me engaged, and it keeps me engaged with all of the rest of the list that I had made of the qualities that I'm trying to embody myself. So if you don't love the thing that you're teaching, I think you're just making your life harder to try and be good at teaching it, unless you have, no choice for some reason. Okay, that's it for me for now on this, but there's definitely more, and I would love to hear what that is from you guys. Thanks as always for watching. Comments, questions below. New trainings are up for 2017, so I hope to see you at one of them in person. And thank you as always, and I'll talk to you again sometime soon.